This is Germany's fastest regional train, the RE200. This frequent and convenient service connects the city of Ulm with Wendlingen, using the relatively new high-speed line in around 30 minutes, which I'll be taking you on board today to see what it does well and the one big problem that it faces for the foreseeable future. Now join me as the journey continues. Ulm Hbf is the main station serving the city of Ulm in the German state of Baden-Württemberg, located right at the border of Bavaria. Being located in the heart of the city, it's fairly easy to get to, being accessible by both local tram and bus. Originally opened in 1850, Ulm Hbf is a major junction station for long-distance, regional and international traffic, and as such sees approximately 10.6 million passengers annually, making it one of Germany's busiest railway stations. It's also suitably equipped with plenty of amenities such as ticketing facilities, shops and restaurants, the latter of which you may want to make use of as regional trains like the one we're taking today don't have any catering facilities on board. On that note, we'll be catching the 1629 IRE200 service to Plochingen from platform 3 north. However, note that this was a temporary extension due to track works, and the service normally terminates at Wendlingen-am-Neckar, where we'll be getting off. As with most of Germany's through stations, access to most of Ulm Hauptbahnhofs through platforms is done via the underground walkways, which are available by both stairs and lifts. Arguably one of Ulm Hauptbahnhof's most popular connections are to both Stuttgart and Munich, the station being a key one on the line between the two cities. High-speed Deutsche Bahn ICE services between both cities have been made faster in recent years with the inauguration of the Wendlingen to Ulm High Speed Line in December 2022, reducing journey times by around 22 minutes compared to using the classic line. It would therefore be more practical to use these to travel to Stuttgart, however, there is a cheaper yet slower alternative. Part of the opening of the high-speed line included the introduction of a new hourly high-speed regional service to improve local connections, which is waiting for us on platform 3. Introducing the DB Regio or IRE200, which has since been rebranded to the RE200 since I recorded this video, which is formed of a regional IC1 coach set from the 1980s, sandwiched between a pair of 200 km/h capable Siemens Vectron multi-system locomotives hired from European locomotive leasing. These locomotives feature vinyl highlighting the service's status as the fastest regional train in Germany, taking the crown from the Munich to Nuremberg Express, which was downgraded to 190 km/h following the introduction of the troubled Skoda sets, a video of which will be coming soon to the channel. The IC1 sets used on the RE200, also being rated for up to 200 km/h, are actually 3 5-car sets formerly used on the Munich to Nuremberg Express, and despite having a cab car for push-pull operation, have a Vectron at the driving end as they aren't equipped with the European train control system signalling used on the Wendlingen to Ulm High Speed Line. Stay tuned towards the end of the video to see the long-term rolling stock solution for this line. The IC1 coaches used on intercity services across Germany are actually in the process of being retired from Deutsche Bahn's roster, and sites of them are becoming more and more scarce, one conveniently pulling up just next to ours, forming a service to Munich. These coaches are relatively old and as such are not fitted with level boarding, several steps instead needing to be navigated to board. First class on the RE200 is formed of compartment seating for up to 4 people, and as it's relatively quiet, it seems I have this one all to myself. Regional trains in Germany have no seat reservations, so I'll just sit here. Our route only has one intermediate stop on the high speed line at Mörklingen before arriving into Wendlingen at the end of the high speed line. Our journey taking 30 minutes to cover a distance of 60 km or 37 miles. We depart Ulm Hauptbahnhof on time at 16:29 for our brief journey along the high speed line.
Guten Tag, sehr geehrte Fahrgäste, das Lok- und Zugpersonal begrüßt Sie via E200 auf der Fahrt nach Plochingen.
Immediately after departure, we make our way towards the tunnels, and after emerging, we enter the Wendlingen to Ulm High Speed Line. Despite the age of the coaches, the two Vectrons on this train provide some insane acceleration. It isn't long at all until we reach the maximum speed of 200 km per hour, though it's worth noting that the maximum speed of this line is 250 km per hour, and only achieved by the high-speed ICE trains. Anyway, let's now take a look inside our compartment whilst we're cruising at top speed. Given the age of these carriages, the seats are incredibly comfortable as to be expected. The panning is great and I can easily stay in these seats for hours, let alone 30 minutes. There are also two tip-up seats just next to the compartment door, though I presume this is for additional capacity and storage depending on requirement/capacity. The armrests aren't foldable, but on the window side is a lever for operating its manual recline, which works by sliding yourself forwards and backwards. On that note, legroom is pretty decent at this point, given I have the compartment all to myself, but if anyone was opposite me, I can guarantee I would be pretty cramped. The compartments have table seating which has foldable sections like so, though they do look like they've seen better days. There's also a rather cleverly placed bin just next to the window. Below this are two standard 230-watt power sockets for phones and laptops. Just above the door are controls to operate the lights, announcement volume and temperature in the compartment, and there are overhead reading lights in addition to this, though I struggle to get them to work. These are below the very generous overhead luggage racks, which can easily hold large suitcases. These also have coat hooks below them, and whilst the carriages and compartments themselves are air conditioned, you will find some windows here and there in case of emergencies, like the one just adjacent to my compartment. I think the comfort on offer here is brilliant for a regional train, especially given the age of the carriages used. It could use a bit of a clean, but I'm impressed overall. The Wendlingen-Ulm High Speed Line only has one intermediate stop between both destinations, Märklingen-Schwäbische Alb, which we're calling at now. There aren't many of them in Germany, but this is one of the typical park and ride out of town high speed stations located around 1 km northwest of Märklingen, and at the end of 2024 the station only saw a total of 1,100 entries and exits, the only trains serving it being those of the RE200. This high-speed line has a large incline section covering around 16 km that starts at the Steinbühl Tunnel, and emerging from it brings us onto the Filzstall Bridge, which is Germany's third highest railway bridge with a height of up to 85 metres and reaches up to 750 metres above sea level. At the end of the bridge, we enter the Büsler Tunnel, which, with a length of 8,808 metres, is the fifth longest railway tunnel in Germany. With that, let's now do a quick walkthrough. Second class on the RE200 is laid out in a 2x2 configuration with a mixture of both airline and bay table seating, with some 6-seated compartments being located towards the vestibules. The driving trailer of the set contains a fairly decent amount of bike storage, which, as with Deutsche Bahn's long-distance services, is subject to compulsory reservation. This is available through a bike day ticket, either a regional or national one, though on Baden-Württemberg regional trains like ours, this is free outside of peak hours. This car also contains a space for those with reduced mobility, as well as an accessible toilet, the remaining ones on the train being standard toilets. The accessible toilet here was fairly clean with no issues, so all's good on my end. One thing you may have noticed throughout this video is how little passengers there are on the train. That's primarily due to this train stopping just short of Stuttgart at Wendlingen, rather than continuing on to the city. This is the result of the lack of train paths into Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof at the moment due to the ongoing Stuttgart 21 project, which aims to build a new through station underneath the existing Terminal 1 and increase the station's capacity. The RE200 journey times being 41 minutes between Ulm and Stuttgart once fully opened. However, the project has been facing repetitive delays. It was originally meant to be completed in 2025, but was later deferred to December 2026 for partial operations and due to issues with the signalling system. This proposed date was also cancelled, and as such the capacity of this high-speed line can't be fully utilised. Who knows when it will? Linked to this is also the introduction of brand new 200 km/h Caradia Max electric multiple units from Alstom to replace the current Vectron and IC1 trains on this line, which are similar to those ordered by CFL for use in Luxembourg that I reviewed last year, and I can't wait to come back and give them a go once they're operational, hopefully later this year. And with that, our journey's over and we're exiting the high speed line. I definitely think the RE200 is a great service both in terms of frequency and journey time, and it was fun to give it a go, but I definitely think its benefits can't be fully realised until Stuttgart 21 opens and the service is extended to Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof. Passenger traffic and stop quality should definitely be higher by then. I was travelling using my first class Interrail pass, and reservations aren't compulsory for domestic journeys in Germany, so I just hopped on board. If you're using the Deutschland ticket, this train is included as well, being a regional service, which is useful as even though it doesn't go all the way to Stuttgart, there are frequent regional links there from Wendlingen. On the day prices are €6.50 in second class and €17.40 in first class, and in all honesty, second class is the better option at the moment given how quiet it is. We arrive into Wendlingen 3 minutes early at 16:56. Are we even in Germany if this is happening? Now you've heard from me, I want to hear from you. Have you taken the RE200 before? What did you think of it, and are you excited for the future plans of this route once they happen? Let me know in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, hype and share it if you did to aid the channel's growth, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more content such as this weekly. Whilst I could have continued to Plochingen, it made more sense for me to join a regional service here to Stuttgart so I can get a seat. Thanks so much for coming with me on this trip, and I look forward to bringing you with me on my next one.